Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to be looking at another ALEKS problem. This one is about identifying ionic molecular compounds and as well as acids and bases. So what you're going to end up using in this class and in future chemistry classes is you're going to have a list of strong acids and strong bases that you're going to want to kind of recognize. We have, for our strong acids, we have hydrochloric, hydrobromic, hydroiodic. This is nitric acid. This is chloric acid, chlorous acid, and sulfuric acid. For bases, we have lithium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, strontium hydroxide, and barium hydroxide. So those are kind of the ones you're going to want to look out for. In Chem 60, I don't think that bases are as focused on as acids are, but for instance, this is taken actually from my Chemistry 102 class that I'm taking. So as for the strong acids, you will eventually need to know your strong acids as well as their names, but for the purpose of this ALEKS question, we're just going to be using it as a reference to answer the question. So it says, some soluble compounds are listed in the table below. It says classify each compound using the checkboxes. So first of all, we have H2SO4. Well, H2SO4 is sulfuric acid. So we know right off the bat that it's one of our strong acids. So we can mark strong acid off. And we also need to ask ourselves whether it's an ionic compound or a molecular compound. Well, if we look at H2SO4, we have hydrogen and we have sulfate. Neither one of those is a metal, so it can't be ionic, because an ionic compound consists of a metal cation and an anion of some sort, right? It's a metal and a non-metal. And H2SO4 does not have a metal, so therefore it is a molecular compound. Next up, we have NH3. NH3 is ammonia. We know right off the bat that it's not an ionic compound. There's no metal in it. That's nitrogen and hydrogen. Those are both non-metals. So this is going to be molecular. And, but is it a strong base, weak base? Well, it is a weak base. Ammonia is a base that you will become familiar with in your lab as well as in your lecture. You're going to see NH3 a lot, and you're going to learn to associate that as a base. Whenever we see ammonia, we think of a base. It is a weak base. It is not listed as one of our strong bases. So it's a weak base, and it's a molecular compound. Next up, we have Ki. That's potassium iodide. Potassium is a metal, and iodine is a non-metal. So this is ionic. Now, it's neither a weak acid, strong base, weak base. It's none of those. In order for something to be in order for something to be an acid at all, it needs to be able to donate a hydrogen atom. And there's no hydrogen atom in this formula. The same way as in order to be a base, it needs to be able to accept a hydrogen atom, but there's nothing to accept in this case. It's just a regular ionic compound. So that's it, just an ionic. There's no other check mark to be filled in for that one. Finally, we have NaOH, that's sodium hydroxide. Sodium is indeed a metal, and hydroxide is one of our polyatomic ions. It's an anion. So a metal and a nonmetal is going to be ionic. As for a base or an acid, if we check our strong bases, we see that NaOH is listed as one of our strong bases. So we will check off strong base, and that is it for this question. Thanks for watching.